Who doesn't want a laser with a key fob? DOVOH reached out to us and asked if we would be willing to review their 3-plane green laser, and we said, sure, send it on. Who doesn't want to play with high-powered lasers, which, by the way, don't ever stare into these with the naked eye. It's not good for you at all. And they claim that you can actually shoot this laser for up to like 66 feet, so 30 meters, and it still be visible, and we'll be sure to actually try that out. So let's take a closer look at this and look at all the features. We'll take it out and use it outside, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about pricing and about warranty and what we think of it. This is the DOVOH Green Professional Laser, and specifically it's the model number H3-360G. It is a green laser. It's also ultra bright. It uses different diodes than most of your other lasers on the market. Comes in this awesome carrying case. For a laser level, I think this is great because it's now contained in foam, because you don't want this thing just beating around all the time, even though it does have a lock, and we'll go over that in a moment. This is something you do want to keep protected. This is not an impact wrench or a screwdriver or something like that that you can just bounce around a lot. This has got some sensitive electronics in it, and so you need to do your best to take care of it. So having a case that's foam lined, that also not only houses the laser in a protected manner, but also it has all your other accessories, including your batteries, chargers, everything else in here as well. So really like the case. So this is the H3-360G laser. It is a 3-plane green laser. So you get the high power green laser, which, by the way, the laser diode is actually 110 milliwatts. Now that's typically on other lasers, you'll see maybe 30 milliwatt diodes. So this is roughly 3+ times the power of a lot of your typical laser levels. Now, before we go over more of this, let's set this aside here and let's see what else is in the case. We get some green laser glasses. This will enhance that green laser, especially when you're outside, make it more defined, and we'll try to show you that through the camera here when we actually use it. So we get that in the case, and then we get this basically target for the laser, which again is going to enhance the visibility, especially when you got set up a long distance away, and we'll go over the distance that this thing will travel by itself as well as with the receiver. So you can hang this up, you can use it like a little stand, so various ways, and use this as a target, which again you can see in kind of enhanced laser focus on that when it hits it. This is the battery charger. Then we get 2 batteries, and these are 7.4 volt 2600 milliamp hour batteries, so 19.24 watt hour batteries. So you get both of these with the kit. And by the way, one of these will run this laser for 8 hours with all 3 lasers running, and they actually say 12 lines, which is basically your 3 different lasers. So 4 lines, so basically your top line, bottom line, side line, so that's 4 lines, but 1 laser. So all 3 lasers running, 1 battery will power that for 8 hours. And if you're just running 1 laser, because you can actually just turn 1 on, you can actually get up to 18 hours of runtime out of it. So you get both batteries, the charger, the USB Type-C cable. So you have a typical USB Type-A to USB Type-C that plugs into the charger to charge this. And you also get a power block as well. So you get the power adapter to use with the charger. One thing to note on the charger, it says input is 5 volts with a 1 amp max. And I actually tried to charge this with a higher capacity charging block, and it didn't like it. So just understand that when you get this, you can't just plug any power block into this. You need this power adapter, or you could probably run a typical USB Type-C off of maybe some other power supply or something like that. But it's a 1 amp max input on the charging. So all that's included as well. We'll just put this back in here. And one of the other cool things is we get a remote, and you see H and V, that's basically horizontal and vertical. So you can actually activate the horizontal and vertical lasers right here from the remote from being several feet away. So that comes in very handy. You could have this hanging off your belt clip or off your belt loop, and be able to change your lasers that you're using without walking over to the tripod or wherever you have it mounted. And then also included is this mount, which is pretty versatile. So you see a couple of different options that we have here. Number one, you can actually move this up and down. So even once you have it mounted, you can actually adjust this to the height that you want, or maybe even change it to raise it and lower it. And once you get to the spot you need it, and then you just clamp down this little thumb screw, and now that's locked into place. You get a 1/4-20 thread right there that's going to mount to the bottom of the laser, but the laser also adapts to a 5/8-11 as well. So a lot of your larger tripods like the surveyors use, things like that, is going to use that larger 5/8-11, but here's that 1/4-20, which this will actually mount to. You can see right there, it threads in, and now that allows us to utilize this, and we can turn this whatever way we want to, as well as you can use these thumb screws here, and those are going to mount on like little steel flanges, which most of the time they're used for these, for putting in like your commercial grid ceilings and things like that, your drop ceilings. This has worked great because you can mount it on that track or on the edge track and actually shoot a laser around the room and be able to mount the rest of the grid like you need it. But again, you could mount this on any little lip, so that's one way to mount this. We could also mount it itself, the actual mount itself, to a larger 5/8-11 tripod or adapter also. And obviously you see a screw hole here as well, but if you'll give this a good pull, so it makes you feel like you're maybe you're going to break it, but you're not. Pull this hard, and what's happening here is this metal plate here is attaching to these strong magnets right here. So that's basically another one of your mounting points. You can fold this up here, and now you can mount that to any steel or any ferrous metal, and that's going to attach very strongly. So let's dig into this laser a bit. And by the way, sorry for the gloves, but I've got a really bad cut on my thumb, and I thought it'd look silly to wear one glove. But anyway, that's why I've got gloves on, because of a bad cut. So anyway, if we flip this laser over, we see the battery door here. And I want to open this, and that helps me mention about another feature. So we see a rubber O-ring around here sealing this. So this is IP54 rated for dust and water intrusion. So a little bit of sprinkling of water is not going to hurt this thing, as well as these are metal coverings here on each one of the laser diodes. So if this thing is dropped, you've got some rubber outlining this, hard plastic housing, but as well as these laser diodes are actually protected by metal covers, all three of these. You see very pronounced right here on the side of the unit is the lock, and so you see that's in lock position. If I unlock it, that's basically going to unlock the laser. Now let me go ahead and put a battery in, and then we can see that in more action. Open the battery, it only goes in one way, and now it's in. And so now once we turn this unlock, now our laser comes to life. And so right now all we've got is the top horizontal laser, and none of the others are on. Now all I have to do, you see an H and a V right here, and oops, we got some beeping going on. What's happening here is this is a self-leveling laser. So that there's like a pendulum in there, and by the way, that pendulum has some cushioning as well. So we never really want to drop our lasers, but if that happens, it's not just going to slam into the side. There's some cushions in there that will help protect that laser diode and that pendulum. So you see, as we shake this, we've got kind of a rocking going on because those laser diodes are on pendulums. Now it's self-leveling at plus or minus 4 degrees. So in other words, if I lean this just a little, you can see my line back there on the wall. It's really not changing. Shaking a little bit, but then once it settles out, it's still going to stay the same, because it's going to self-level at anything less than 4 degrees. But when I go past 4 degrees, it's going to give me an alarm saying, hey, you're not level anymore. What you're actually seeing flash and show is not level. So that leads me to another feature. Let's say you're installing something at an angle and you need that steady line, and you need it at an angle. You don't need it level. Well, all you have to do is shift this to the lock. So that's going to lock the pendulums. And then if we hold the power button down, now this comes on, and so now we can angle this laser however we need to. So we no longer have an alarm, but you just have to understand this is not level anymore. This is just in a steady laser. And you can see right here, it's in lock mode and it's still powered, and it's telling us that we no longer have a self-leveling laser, but now we can install that stair baluster or set of stairs or whatever it is we need to set at an angle. And to turn that off, basically we just unlock the laser, or we can hit that power button. So now we're back to self-leveling. Up here on the top of the unit, we have 3 buttons. We have that power button, which has another little symbol there, and I'll go over that in one moment. But we also have the H for horizontal and the V for vertical. Now, if I power this on, so we've got our horizontal beam. If I hit the V button, that gives us 1 vertical here on the front. If I hit this again, that gives us the second one right here. And if I hit it one more time, now it's going to turn on all of them. So now I've got my horizontal plane, I've got this vertical plane, and I've got this vertical plane. So this is where they're saying this is 12 lines. So this line, 1 overhead, 1 coming down because it's a 360, and then another 4 here and another 4 here. So that would give us 12 lines per se, but really it's only 3 laser diodes. And then if I want to turn those off, I can hit the H again, turn off the horizontal, hit the V again, turn off both of the verticals, hit it again, turn on one of the verticals. So you see what I'm talking about. Or if I go to my remote here, do a vertical, it's going to turn on the opposite vertical, vertical again, turn on both of them, and then hit the horizontal button and turn on the horizontal. So really cool to have a remote that works along with the laser. And pretty self-explanatory as well. It's not hard to pick up that we're looking at H and V for horizontal and vertical because we're dealing with a laser level. Now let's talk about that separate symbol that's right here. What that is pulse mode. And the reason you want that is on your long distances, especially outside. So basically the distance of this laser, typical travel that you can actually see, is about, with the naked eye, if you will, and with just the laser, you're looking at about 20 meters. Now that's about 66 feet that you can still see the green laser. Now if you use this in pulse mode along with a receiver, which by the way the receiver doesn't come with it, and DOVOH doesn't make a receiver either, but any 10 kilohertz receiver will work. And so this in conjunction with a receiver, which by the way you mount a receiver at the receiving end or where you need it to pick up that laser, and then you can go up to about 200 feet, 197 feet, or like 60 meters. Now here on the opposite side of the laser, we see a little rubber tab there, and if you open this up, you see a USB Type-C port. Now this is not to charge the battery. It will not charge the battery from this port. However, you can externally power the laser with any type of external power source with a USB Type-C cable. So again, even if your battery's dead, it's not going to charge it, but it will power the laser. So if you ran out of battery and you have a power supply sitting around with a USB Type-C cable, plug that in, and now you can get some more runtime using that laser. Now let's take a look at the size of this laser. You probably got a good idea just by holding this, but about 144 millimeters. Let's actually change that. So 5.6 inches, so about 5.5 inches. It's actually probably a little more than that. Let's measure here. So yeah, right at 6 inches long. And at the base about 2.5, 2.6 inches, and with that laser on there, about 3.2 inches. And overall height, 5 inches tall. So about 5 inches tall, 6 inches long, and a little over 3 inches wide with that laser housing in there. It really doesn't weigh anything, maybe a pound or two at the most, but not anything that's going to be heavy to carry or to mount. Now let's talk about the accuracy of this laser. And so what they're stating is it is within 2 millimeters. So let's show 2 millimeters here. So that's about 2 millimeters. So you see how big that gap is right there. And that's at 10 meters or roughly 33 feet. Now, they also claim a 1/13 of an inch. Most of us don't know what 1/13 of an inch is, but just showing you what 2 millimeters is at 10 meters or at 33 feet. Now, pricing on the DOVOH 3-plane laser is $280. I think $279.97. And you can purchase this on their website. You can also purchase it on Amazon as well. Warranty-wise, they offer a 5-year accuracy warranty on this. So in other words, if you feel like this gets out of reading accurate, you can actually send it in and they will warranty it for 5 years to be accurate. And they also offer basically a simple 1-year warranty on any problems with it, and then I think a 2-year quality warranty, so something kind of in between. But anyway, 5 years on the accuracy and a 1-year typical warranty from purchase date. But make sure you have your purchase information of when you bought it, where you bought it, so basically your receipt, so that they can validate that. So we're going to mount this on our typical tripod. And if we take the base off, you can see we've got a typical 1/4-20 mount. And easily just mount here to the bottom. And so now we can mount this on our tripod and go use it. So we're sitting at a distance of about 30 feet or 33 feet, like 10 meters from the laser here to that metal shed right there. Now, I can faintly break out the laser line that's right there where the target is going across there. You may not be able to see that with the camera. And then with the green glasses on, again, I can faintly pick that up. Now we'll see if we can bring that into perspective here. I'm not sure that we are, but we'll bring you closer so that you can see that line. Now you can see here our laser line. You can see that pretty defined here in the camera. And I don't know if you can see on the target, it's pretty bright on there as well. More straight on, you can actually see that. And then let's throw on these. And now that enhances that laser just a little bit more, filtering out all the other colors. Now we can see that green pretty pronounced, or a little more pronounced than with just the naked eye. But still at a good 30+ feet, we're still seeing that line pretty well, and we're outside. It's not a really bright day, but the sun is shining and a little bit of overcast, and we can still see this line from 30+ feet. Okay, now I've backed the laser up to the maximum at about 60 feet or at about 30 meters, so 65, 66 feet. And I can barely make out a line right here of the laser level. It's very faint. I really can't even see it on the target there, but I can make it out there on the shed. I'll see if we can make it out with the camera. So yeah, I think you see that line right there. So that's at what they're claiming to be its max distance without a receiver, and that's pretty impressive that at 20 meters we're still able to see this line right here. So yes, very faint, but still we can make it out. So you can see there we're using the magnetic mount mounted to this steel building. We can see the bright green line, and then with the remote, if I want to turn on the vertical line, another vertical line, both of them, turn off the horizontal. So really cool to have this remote. Turn everything off, and now save the battery, come back from lunch, turn it back on. We've never touched it, and you're ready to go again. So you can see here with our magnetic mount on, I can loosen this thumb screw right here. And then adjust it up or down to where I need it. Tighten our thumb screw and lock it down into place. Now, we've already talked to you about pricing. This is $280, and you get a 5-year accuracy warranty. Really, it looks like you get a 1-year overall warranty, but I guess if it goes out of calibration within 5 years and they can prove that it wasn't beat up or banged up, then they'll actually recalibrate it for you within that 5-year period. So we can't argue with that. $280 is a good price for a 3-plane green laser that also has these high-powered diodes. So Most of the other lasers that we test, you definitely have no chance of seeing that outside at 60 plus feet. So we were pretty impressed with that. Now also keep in mind though that we were shooting on a very glossy metal finish, pretty new little metal storage shed. So probably a porous surface like a concrete or something like that, you may not have as good of visibility on a line on something like that. So just keep that in mind. Again, we were shooting on something nice and smooth to be able to see that. Still, it impressed us that we could see it. And also understand, if you want to shoot even further, then you can use another receiver in conjunction with this, and any 10 kilohertz receiver will work with it. We'll have a link in the description. You can buy these on Amazon. You can buy these at the DOVOH.com store. And please keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our little high-powered laser video, then give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.